Oh man. Oh boy. What's going on, y'all? It is Z-Rex with no noise. We're live today. It is the 10th of March, 2023. Just at 11 o'clock, barely making it in our time window here. Sorry, I had a guy buying a car from me. We were just BSing. I was like, oh crap, we gotta go, gotta do shit. Anyway, man, what is going down? Actually, a lot of stuff is. Some banking contagion action going on. Price action has been kind of weird this week. We just kind of shit all over the place. But here we are today, Friday, wrapping the week up with a pretty brutal week. Not for everything, though. Still, also very odd price action. I mean, we've got. Hold on, let's go over here real quick and do a little bit of this fandangoing. We've got kind of shit all over the board. Like NASDAQ, ES, and Dow are all up. NASDAQ's up almost 1%. It's actually still holding on to 12,000 handle, but Russell's just been getting mollywopped. Now, that is due to Russell does have pretty good exposure to the regional banking sector, which is absolutely getting demolished. I'm sure y'all seen headlines about Silicon Valley Bank pretty much going bust and all of that, them having to liquidate like $20 billion yesterday to cover deposits. The question now for me is this going to be a contagion for the rest of the markets? Obviously, crypto taking it on the chin. It could, once it lost that 21, got back in the 21,000 handle, which was Wednesday's close actually. It just started tanking from there. Now we are right on the 200. We'll get to this in a second. I just want to finish my thought about this regional banking problem or potential problem here. So we can go to KRE or KBE. Those are the regional banking ETFs. And you can see we're actually, wow, okay, we're actually putting in a doji for so far today. But you can see they haven't looked good in a long time, so it's not like super surprising. They had descending triangle type formations on them. This one is more of just a range, broke out of the range. And I did have a target on this guy that I drew on here many moons ago. Looks like at about 40, like upper 30s pretty much. We barely came within, half a buck to that target. So maybe we're getting close, but the problem is this going to be a contagion? Are other banks going to start failing? You've got XLF, which is more large banks, not just regional. It's kind of all over the place. JP Morgan, the big boys. This is, to be fair, if we close like this in 4 hours, like we always talk about, when you get one candle that takes out all the EMAs in one swipe, that's usually pretty bad. So now I'm a little bit cautious of contagion issues. Are people going to get scared and start doing bank runs? And I don't know. It is definitely pretty interesting. I was talking with my buddy earlier, and there could be the case for the Fed now with the meeting next week that they don't do the 50-point hike, or they go back to 25, or what if they surprise and don't do a hike because they're like, oh, we need to reassess the situation. What happened? Let's figure it out. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on the table now with this bank going under. So that is pretty damn interesting to me. Markets are a little bit exciting now. They've been going sideways and boring as hell for a while, and here we are. And if y'all want to look at that SVB real quick, that's something. This is the big problem here that pretty much has been causing all this. It's only down 60% today, so not too shabby. Obviously sarcasm, but if you can see, look at this gap. We get the gap fill and then immediate rejection from 200 and just dribbled down back below all the MAs to fill this gap, and then it just created a monster gap. And to be fair, this chart has actually looked pretty shitty since the end of 2020. Well, actually, let's just say the beginning of 22. So the beginning of last year, it's already looked pretty bad. So, I mean, before this dump, it already lost, 50 to 70%, depending where you measure it from. So it's it's kind of I guess, the nail in the coffin for this. Most volume on it ever. Look at this. Let's hold on. Let's see how far back this goes. Oh my God, this goes all the way back to the 80s. Most volume on it by at least triple just today. So definitely a big issue. And I think they managed about 200 and something $billion. So they're a fairly large bank. To put it in perspective, though, that's like not even a tenth of J.P. Morgan or something like that. So it's a pretty good sized bank, but it's not like Chase or something. Now my issue is, does this spill over to somebody like JP Morgan? Does this spill over to just general banks? Bank of America. Some of these, oh wow, Bank of America actually looks really bad, or like Deutsche Bank or something. It's kind of looking a little bit bad. And warrants extra caution now. Let's see here. Let's just start with the rundown real quick. Got that out of the way. All right, let's go to Mama Bear. Lost that 21K. Here we are, just dump fest 3,000. All the way to 19,000. We're hovering right on the 200 MA. This was acceptance, a little bit lower with this lower tail on the candle. We did get a nasty close at the end of the day on Wednesday's stream. Oh, wait, on Wednesday's price action. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm excited. I love when big moves happen like this. And kind of to the downside, too. It makes me more excited. Because everyone's mostly bullish all the time. So I'm a contrarian at heart. But anyway, we're getting this come to the test of the middle of the range of 19. Line in the sand here is about 19. That's the next stop. Below that, we probably come and test this trend line at least. And then maybe go into the 17s. Now, for me specifically, I actually do kind of like that this is happening. It's giving me a chance. For me personally, I'm just some jackass on YouTube, so don't listen, or on TradingView, don't listen to me, blah blah blah, disclaimer, blah 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 blah, whatever. Do your own research. But for me, this is really getting me excited for getting a little bit exposure to the long side on crypto. I sold most of my stuff up here in this lollygagging because it's like, bulls are kind of, why aren't they doing anything? And so now, off of that post that I made on my ideas about the risk of, then it was 30% on the max, but now look where it is. Now it's only 20%. Or if you only take it to, 18 handle, it's less than 10% now. And for me, I really like that for crypto odds. Yes, of course it could break lower. Of course this could just go below 16K again. I mean, anything is possible. But I do like the odds now that it's getting a little bit discount and the risk is a little bit less. So, and that was kind of why I posted that, is like, that's the time right here. We went and retested it a couple of times, but it held up. Also over here, we bounced out of it, retested it right here. We bounced out of it. We kind of retested, bounced out again, retested. So I do kind of like this for, oh crap, we don't want to go daily here. We want to go daily on this one. This one's pretty much only weekly looking. So I still do like this setup, and as long as we're kind of staying up against the blue box, I cannot go against what price action has told us for the entire inception of Bitcoin. I just can't do it. It could be wrong because nothing's guaranteed, but the odds are in our favor that this is the consolidation zone. Now, like we spoke about the other day, the only difference about bulls and stuff here is that we've never camped below the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame this long ever in Bitcoin's history. So that is the only difference in this structure against the past performance. And I do believe it's also the same with the 55 weekly. And I don't know if that's probably about the same number. And you only have like really 2 touches. You can kind of extrapolate this over a little bit. So you got like 1, 2, 3 touches. But so that is one mark for the bull or for the bears on their side. But overall, looking at the structure from the halving cycle, I do believe that the risk to reward on this setup is still just really good, because if it does hold up here, I mean, upside on this is, you know, probably 30 to 50K, somewhere in there over the next yearish. And look at all this support too right here. You got the mama flat, you got the horizontal support, you've got a bunch of trend line crosses, all in the 19,000-ish area. So let's see how this week closes too. If it kind of takes out the 200, I'm sorry, the 21. Take a couple zeros off there. The 21 EMA, that could be definitely bad, but we would need an open and close below that to confirm that maybe the Bears are getting more momentum, and that won't be until the end of next week, which is actually after the Fed meeting too, which I'm sure everybody is freaking paying attention to at this point. Oh, let's see. Gap fill. Oh, look. Hey, look at this. The gap has been filled on the futures, which we've been eyeballing. Well, looky there. All right, so we're going to fill this gap and find support and gap and go to the upside? Maybe. That is a possibility, but that is interesting. I actually kind of like that this gap is getting filled. If that could just kind of chill here again. It's a little bit lower on futures price. It's 19,000 handle and about 18.5 on the futures. So you can say 19K, give or take 500 bucks. Let's see here. And 618 is down here at about 19 flat too. So nice confluence with that. GBDC is actually just chilling. Look at that. GBDC is pretty much dead flat today, while Bitcoin's down over 2%. Interesting. All right. Huh. That's a little surprising. I'm going to have to chew on that thought for a second. All right, let's go to Ethereum. What is Unicorn Guy doing? Unicorn Shirt Man is floating on the 200. The weekly 200 is a little bit above here at about 1420. That's kind of an interesting pattern that we've got built out with this new candle, kind of how it's forming. But so next spot of major support is about 1300 flat. And let's go back to the weekly. It's about 20%, 15, 20%, even to this tail is like 35. But really this 1300 is kind of the line in the sand, maybe 1280-ish, but as long as we hold above about $1,300, you know, not too shabby. And for me, risk to reward on this, I will take 7 single-digit risk on most assets, but especially crypto. Yeah, of course, it could just dump here and stop me out. That's fine, whatever. But 7% for potential, you know, even just back to the top of range is like a 2-to-1, and that would probably turn more into a long-term hold for me. So just kind of what I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Gap fill, past the gap fill, kind of chilling. Finding a little support on the tops of all of this here. Let's go to the weekly on ETH. Yeah, pretty much the same as spot. Nothing really new or to add to what I just said. Oh gosh, that dollar rejection, nasty. Here we are though at the 200 daily. Here we are, right at the major horizontal in the low 70s. So, you know, is this just a liquidation break to test the breakout zone? You could easily argue that. I mean, you know, technically damage on a weekly isn't done until we have open and closes below a 21 EMA. That would make me a little bit cautious and make me rethink some of the scoopy scoop long-term stuff. But I mean, that's not until next Sunday, the close on that. So there's a lot of time in between there. And I know everyone's probably freaking out at their house now or looking at their computer screens like, what is that? How could this happen? How could the Fed let this happen? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, man, the writing's been on the wall, man. Not that we're going to have a big dump, but like to just be cautious that, you know, bears were getting a little bit of a Momo. You know, we talk about that all the time on the channel. When you break certain areas, you usually will go test the bottom area, just like on this one. We were breaking down from 20. We said we get some more momentum. We'll probably go test this little cluster. We did get a nice bounce off of it. Look at this. If this candle closes like this, that would make me feel pretty good about this being a little local low in the 16 handle for ETC. And look at XRP just chilling. It hasn't dumped yet. Very surprising that it's not going down. Yeah, that's what's the weird part about some of these moves is some stuff like what dot. Okay, dot's not up. It's just it's just flat over here testing this zone after yesterday's sell-off. Let's see, Stellar testing the local lows. Oh, Tron got murder fest though yesterday, brutal. But is it coming just back to test the previous support zones? It very well could be, and that's good. We want it to be looking like sine waves. We don't want it to just be straight up, because the more it just goes straight up, the more likely it does something exactly like this, the elevator down thing or whatever. Stairs up, elevator down. I'm sure y'all heard that. So everything is kind of looking the same, just look like holding about to the left, either the late December low or the early December lows, depending on which one it is. Well, hey, look, we're at the bottom of the range. Look how fast that happened. Range trade 3,000 on this biatch. Chainlink has literally been in a range for almost an entire year at this point. Is it coming back on a buy zone? Technically, yes. On a range trade, this is how you would play that, because it range trades until it don't. EOS breaking this trend line. I'm kind of doing the same thing though. December area test, so that's pretty good. BCH, man, back to 100 in single digits, huh? Man, that's actually kind of attractive. I kind of like that around $100, because what is this now? This is like about 10%. Yeah, see, we're getting into less than 20% now on risk to rewards. I really like that. Oh, we actually do have a lower tail on BSV. Man, BSV just never got no love. It just freaking has been worked by this 21 EMA pretty much since November of 2021. Absolutely brutal. Man, poor bulls in BSV. Someday they will show themselves. Man, and at $33, I almost kind of want to just buy a little bit just for shits and giggles. There's not really any support or any reason to do that here, to be fair. But just being so low, it's kind of like, take a stab maybe. Oh gosh, XMR, yeah, losing that 150s. And see, this is a really good example of technical analysis usually will sniff out big downside moves or upside moves before they happen. So, we've been talking about how below 155, low 150s, that the bulls have lost momentum. And so, almost every time, even in the 87 flash crash, Black Monday, there was signs that on SPX that the momentum was lost. It's just if you listen to what price is telling you. I know it's very probably counterintuitive to most things, but like there's nothing that has more information than a chart. This is the collective mindset and info and psychology of every single person that's trading in the market. You are not smarter than what this chart can tell you. So listen to the price, man. It's very important, of course, in my opinion. Zcash, ouch. Privacy, death over here. Lowest maybe ever. Damn, it's almost there. Look at this. We're like in March, getting close to Corona lows. And after it went IPO or ICO'd, I should say, we're at literally the ICO dump lows. See, so what is this? Look at this risk to reward that's right around here. Look at this, 15%. Here we are again, man, in the teens of percent. Is it probable that those could get broke and you just get stopped out? Oh, yeah, most definitely. I would say it's probably like 50-50 at best. But 50-50 for 2 to 5x risk to reward? Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. Let's see here. Coming to test over here on the late fall and winter lows. Brutal. I mean, look how fast this is. This is definitely elevator down. But look where it's stopping. 200, right above structure, trend line. If you're in crypto long enough, you see these moves all the time. It's not that crazy, right? It does happen literally all the time. Crypto be moving, man. Let's see. Let's see what Dogecoin's doing. Poor Doji. Below the trend line, there is horizontal support around this mid. It's about 6.5, 6.66 pretty much. So we're going to find some support here. Will the bulls today put in some hammer candles or some type of supporting candle that they are signaling defense of structure? We don't know yet. We still got 6 hours on that, but look for that at the end of today, this evening. That will be a very good clue, in my opinion. It's funny, man. On this big day, there's not even anyone really chatting. If you are chatting, I can't see it if there is chats. So I hope that it is working, but if someone could just type anything in there, that would be cool. Hello, something, so I know it works. Because I did have a thing the other day where people were asking me all these questions and I didn't see any of them because it was glitched out. And then I was like, oh, I kind of felt bad because I was like, damn, people were all talking and chatting and I couldn't even respond. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Had to take a little sip of my tea. Got some chai tea today. Oh, all right. Let's see. STX is kind of just chilling. It actually doesn't look super bad. I'm just hanging out up here. Still testing some previous little ranges and supports. About 50 cents. This actually still looks okay above 50 cents. Oh, look. Hexcoin. It's up today. I don't know why Hexcoin does that. It's like the VIX of the crypto. It goes up a lot of times when crypto sells off. It's kind of funny. But this has broke trend now. We were kind of looking for this, a little test of like the top range here after this trend line break. So nothing too shocking. It's literally been going straight up for, a month. So it's good to have a little liquidation break as long as it can hold like mid 4 pennies. Don't see anything really technically damaging to that chart because it has made a new high against last year's kind of structure. Let's go to the weekly. And it has even attempted to break out and make new highs against the summer of last year, which a lot of coins have not been able to do that. So that is definitely a chalk up for the bulls there. Very nice. Yeah, so I still can't see any chats if there are chats, and I don't think I can refresh this window without it doing something. What if I just type something in here? Test. All right, I don't know if that works or not, but whatever. All right, VeChain Murder Fest. Just like coming over here, same shit, different day, same chart. Let's see here. Bouncing off of this, same thing. The December pretty much structure is holding up so far. We do have a little hammer doji yesterday, and we are getting a double doji right here. So that's actually pretty interesting. Test. Oh, thank you, Anthony, for putting that in there. It is working. Good deal. Good deal. So if this closes up like this, that'd be interesting. Atom and Osmos, or Osmos specifically, has just not been looking very sexy. It's actually pretty whack. My buddy is so bullish on this damn coin for whatever reason. He just loves everything about it. And maybe I'll join him a little bit here because I can take about 10-ish% risk. Because if it loses 69 cents, what the fuck? I swear, man, so many things are right around meme numbers. It is just hilarious. Anyway, if it goes below 69, I'm going to find looking a little bit weak here to be fair, but it is right on the trend line, and the weekly's right below it at about $2. Man, it's close. It's barely holding on. I'd say above $2 is okay, but we start losing 220, it probably tests $2 pretty easy. Really needs to regain like 240-ish. All right, now let's go to the normie markets that are getting absolutely monkey hammered today. Well, actually, they're not. Only the Russell is. NASDAQ and stuff is up. NASDAQ is still holding the $12,000 support. How hilarious is that? Anyway, hovering around 200. The bulls are trying to defend the 200. Pretty nasty candle yesterday, but again, looking at the December structure, just like crypto, we are finding a little support here. And let's zoom out a little bit to the weekly. Let's see. This is pretty tough on the weekly. They're not making this one easy. All the oscillators are just stacked right here. So there's that 4080 resistance is no joke. We keep getting rejected. His price has gotten there the last few weeks, and it keeps getting monkey hammered down from there. But to be fair, also the bulls or the bears can't push it below 39. So it's like this 39 to 4080 range that we're kind of trapped in, which if you look at this red box that I've had drawn on here for a long time, it's actually pretty much just inside of that price range. So nothing's really changed that much really in 6 months. We're kind of just ping-ponging around. This is still a higher high though. This is still a higher low. This is still higher highs and higher lows on the last 5 months of business. So until it really lost 3,900, you can't really get too bearish on this. I know that's kind of crazy sounding with Russell down 2% and lost major support levels at that 1900 level that we've been talking about and eyeballing for weeks, but this is working. Yeah, what's up, Hellbound Buick? How you doing today? Happy Friday. It is working. Yes, I do see it. Good deal. Good deal. I appreciate y'all giving me some feedback there. Can I check mana and sand? Mana versus sand? Oh, God. Here you go, Anthony. You trying to get fancy, bro? What are you, a Paris trader now? That's funny. I know you pretty well. You're what? Why mana versus sand? Like, why do you want to look at that? Please enlighten me on that one. I am very curious. All right, back to the chart. This still looks fine above 12K. There's no reason to change narrative on this until it's below 12K. Whatever. Not a big deal. Look at all the EMAs, man. All within 2%. Pretty wild. We've been talking about a big move coming soon. Price was kind of weird this week, and now we've got this thing about it's like 5 minutes behind, my buddy says on the chat. Weird. Yeah, I don't have any lag. I've been holding pretty steady, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of out of my control too, so appreciate the feedback regardless though. Man, but dude, yeah, this is just the same shit. It's holding 12K, so 12K and 12.4 until it's out of that range. It's very neutral. Neutral, maybe it's slightly bullish. It's actually slightly bullish to be fair, because we are above the 200. We're above the 21. We're just the mama and the 55 are in the way right now. That's it, which is that 12.4 level. Also trying to defend the 200 like ES is. Looks like the Dow is in the same exact position. Mama is right below it. It did catch it today on the tail, almost to the tick there. Looking over here on structure, you can see a couple attempts here. A lot of kind of body connects and tail wick connects right around this level. What you were kind of discussing on Wednesday's stream, if it starts to lose this and gets comfy below this candle at 32,250, I would be looking for the next spot of 31.6 and change. And to the upside, it's about 32.8 is how that's playing. Let's see. Oh my God, the rut. What happened to you? What is going on, Russell? Well, they do have exposure to regional banking. And if you go over here to Russell 2000 holdings, we can show you this. We can go just to Seeking Alpha, whatever, that should work. You can see financials is 15% of the index, and 15% of those are actually lots of regional and smaller banks too. So that's why they're getting a little slapped on this. I actually wonder if they hold Silicon Valley Bank or whatever, which probably most people have never heard of. I've never even heard of that bank. It's so funny. It's like, oh God, it's the biggest problem ever. Silicon Valley Bank, which they were probably giving loans out to every tech company that had a pulse and bought them a fucking steak dinner in the last like 5 years with 0% interest rates. And that's the problem with ZERP is it doesn't respect capital, and so you like pretty much allow fraudsters to thrive when money and the cost of capital is free. It shouldn't be zero. Like that's insanity. Like there's no check in the market because you can just keep going and refinance at zero and keep having bad habits. It's like heroin. It's like a drug addict or some shit. So, but anyway, um, now we're coming out of the rates. We'll see. Next week's going to be real interesting, y'all. That's going to be, get your popcorn ready for that one. For Wednesday, that'll be the Fed meeting, and that's like one of the big ones too. There's like 4 big ones I think a year, and that's one of them is the March one. So very nice. Is this a trend line right here? Is this a little intermediate speed? It sure is. Look at that. So if we're trying to find something for bulls, trying to force it on this chart, there is a trend line right here. And depending how you drew it, you can kind of draw it like this too, which is kind of how I had it drawn at first, but it got breached, so I erased that. And so now you can kind of draw it like this as well. That's the thing with trend lines, they are subjective. That's why horizontals are a little bit more better, but whatever. Trend lines do work for sure. So maybe, this is kind of the spot. And to be technical about structure, it's still a higher low, right here, right here, right here. Let's go to the weekly. It's still a higher low. Even this looks nasty as hell. There's no debating that if it closes like this in the next 4 hours, taking out the 200, the mama, and all this is brutal. This would be really nasty. Now, the question is this a setup for a nasty rip to the upside because the Fed backs off of hiking? Oh my God, that would be so hilarious if they do that. I would just have to laugh so much if that happened, man. They're like, oh God, with the unemployment going up and this and that, all right, we're going to have to pause and the banking contagion could be a problem. We're not going to hike rates or do 50 points anymore. But anyway, this is a nasty weekly, taking out all the MAs. That's generally bad, but structure trumps everything. And so until the next line in the sand is about 1760-ish, and we got a horizontal at 1750 or so. So like mid 1700s is kind of the line in the sand at this point. We start breaching back below there, I'd start to get pretty bearish on this, and I'd be looking for mid 16s at that point, testing this trend line and these local lows. But right now, looks like it's just some emotional selling so far from the bank problems. But again, look at the signs of this. Like we talked about on the stream on Wednesday and even Monday, this one here getting the follow through. We're talking about how this looked nasty with the engulfing on Mondays, with the Tuesdays follow through, and then the Wednesday kind of just, we're just chilling. I mean, when you take out the bodies, that's very important. Remember that in the future. When you see bodies close above or below, this is just to the downside today, or this week. But when you get the moment, that means the bears are getting momentum if they're able to push the body past structure. It's very important. Candle reading is super awesome if you didn't know. May as well do my other requests since you won't see it till noon. Ha ha ha, you got jokes? No, I'm about to do them right now here. Just for you, sir. Just for you, Mr. Anthony Travis. All right, let's see here. But yeah, mid 1700s is the line in the sand at this point. There should be decent support around here. I would not be surprised if we get a pretty good counter trend rally up to low 1800s going into the Fed meeting next week. The Dow breaking the trend, but hey, is it just retesting the structure? Could be. Definitely could be. This is the first attempt, so one day doesn't make a trend change. But to kind of see how this goes with the um, week next week with the Fed week. So 14.2, 14,200 line in the sand on this guy. So we're kind of just barely hovering above that. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly is actually finding support right on the trend line, right at 14.2, and both of the short-term moving averages so far. So that's an interesting spot for that to stall. Let's go to DAX. DAX is still in the stupid freaking range. Oh my God, 15.2, 15.6, whatever. Don't care about it. Look at this. Look at this again. I didn't post this on my chats here, but in another chat group I'm in, or a chat group I'm in, I said, are we about to get another high or low on VIX on this support line? And it popped that later that day. Just hilarious that happens, especially on VIX. And if VIX does close up above like 2450, above all this business, that is a little bit interesting, for sure. That could be pretty nasty. Let's see here. Let me look back. Yeah, I mean, when VIX, like we talked about when it got above here, when VIX is above 22, that's kind of the pivot point on VIX right now. Above 22, you definitely need to be wary of downside action. And what's funny is it's up when the ES is up, which this is based off the ES options chain. So, okay. VIX has acted funny, though, for a while now, to be fair. Oh, look at this. Okay, volatility. This is interesting. All right, so volatility on volatility, which is the VVIX, this is actually a little bit more concerning. When it gets over 100, you do have to watch out for gnarly big events. All right, so I had not noticed this yet. So this is kind of interesting. Are we going to get an open and close? It's not an open and close above it, so it's a little bit weaker. We won't actually see that potential until Monday. But very interesting here. And I might actually buy some lotto puts for Monday in case there is some kind of weird contagion that happens over the weekend. And lotto puts, when I say something like that, or lotto calls, it's like lunch money trades. I don't put a lot of money in them because they almost always lose. But they do pay off really big if they actually do come to fruition. And I might not even buy them because volatility is so expanded at this point that they might be too expensive. But that's something I'm going to actually go look at before the day's over. Because if there is some kind of contagion event that spreads and we don't know about the implications to other banks yet, and this is just like the first part of it, that could get a little bit fugly, if you will. We'll see how that plays out next week, but that is interesting. We haven't been above 100 since back over here in September of last year. VVIX or VIX futures kind of in the same thing, but we don't get this updated till the end of the day for whatever reason. It's kind of weird. Oil just lollygagging, coming back to test the 77. Got rejected yesterday. Doing another test today. Can it get back up there? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's just really, really filling out this range kind of triangle action here. Nat gas is actually losing that 260 area by about 7 pennies so far. That is the area that gets a little bit more momentum for the bears. So kind of a little cautious here for long nat gas people. Line in the sand on this is about 245, 250. Losing 260 is like the caution signal, and then losing 250 is like jump off the damn ship because we might be going to fill this gap right here. Bonds rallying really hard because they're assuming, like we talked about earlier, they're assuming the Fed's going to back off, is what this is kind of saying. Very interesting. Big rally here. Huge rally on these. Very interesting. Nice candle and follow through on here. See, here's another example of when the candles take out and engulf the other one. So you have bears try to get it going. They do an open and close below range, which is very bearish. Now you just look for follow through. Literally next day engulfs, and this is a seller rejection. So the bull said, nah, we're good right here. So this is actually a pretty good defense candle. And so it's actually not bearish anymore after this candle until it breaks back below that structure, which is about 123. And I'm just kind of going over some basics in candle formation. So just think of like when candle, like the bodies are the most important parts of the candle. And if they keep trending one way, I mean, it can be that simple sometimes. I know a guy that trades just off candles. He literally trades, it's called naked charting. He literally trades naked and he freaking kills it. That's something though that does take probably a lot of experience. And wait, hold up. I wanted to hide everything. Yeah, he literally just trades like this, nothing else. So if you can do that, kudos to you, man. That means you have got some skills, boy. TMF, of course, is up a sheet ton. Also, buyer rejection, abandoned reversal island candle is what this is. So this is usually a really hardcore base on that. TNX obviously is going to be dump fest back below 380. But look where it stops, right at the 370 area. So let's make this more confusing and into the range. 370 was the previous area we were looking at for downside pressure on equities, which we did get. Here's that same kind of reversal candle that we talked about Monday and Wednesday's show. Looks like that ended up playing out. And now we're just going to have to see what the Fed does to kind of get direction from these areas. Stupid Fed. Anyway, gold and silver doing pretty good. Pumping pretty hard here. Also kind of in the vein of they're going to back off on some kind of rates or something. It's kind of what gold and bonds are saying. Gold, actually, this is nice. So let's go to the weekly. Hold up. Oh, man, I like this. If this closes like above 50, or 1855-ish, we've got this sell-off. We have this engulfing that we've talked about a little bit. We just need some follow-through. This would be pretty sexy candle, a little hammer candle on top of an engulfing. This actually would look pretty good for gold. Next major resistance is about 1890. So if we could get follow through above 1890 and get a couple of candles open and close above that, this would open the doors up for some potentially new highs on gold. So pretty nice there. GDX and all that, of course, is pumping hard too. So very nice. All right, let's go look at some of this request stuff from Mr. Pair Traders. Travis, mana versus sand. Why? And you didn't answer me. Why do you want to look at mana versus sand? This chart, I can almost guarantee you, before I even pull it up, is not going to tell you anything. That's just my guess. Yeah. Okay. So what are you gonna? How are you gonna trade off of this? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna buy mana and short sand or something? Or like what? Like what are you? How would you actually take advantage of this? I'm genuinely curious. Because I don't see any way to really trade this. You have to really just look at. Sometimes you can use pairs against Bitcoin or Ethereum. That makes more sense. But doing it between other altcoins, since they're like 90+% correlated with Bitcoin, is not. I just don't see an advantage there. Of course, everybody sees a little bit different stuff, but I don't really particularly see any kind of advantage of looking at altcoin pairs, because it's like you're like pairing things that have almost 100% correlation. So it's kind of like, because here's Mana's doing the same thing as most other charts, and if you look at sand, it's doing the exact same thing as all the other charts. So I'm not really sure what you're trying to go for there. But these aren't really, they're doing the same thing every other altcoin is doing, testing the late last year Q4 kind of local structure. And we're like literally smack in the middle of all this right here. So not really anything to do there. Pretty weak. It couldn't even get over the 21 EMA. It's kind of like BSV over here. Yeah, pretty weak. It does have really good support, about 45 cents though on mana. So that's probably the best thing about it. Looks like it's around this 382. Yeah, it's close-ish. Yeah, so and you're putting a little hammer candle here, so maybe, but not my favorite chart Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any definitive kind of thing on this, except it looks like most of the other altcoins. So it could be finding support right here. So yeah, again, I don't know what your ideas on that. I'm still real curious about why you're looking at pairs trading for shit coins. You're looking at shit pairs, we could call it. All right, let's go look at something else. SFM. Sprouts. Oh, I love this weekly candle. This is bullish. This is pretty damn bullish above $32. I shop at this place. It's a cool spot. They actually have some really good bratwurst there. And they also make a really good, if you like, not coleslaw, what's the other one? Sauerkraut. It's made by Bubby's. That's super delicious there. Anyway, getting sidetracked. I'm kind of hungry, so I'm thinking of food here. No, but this actually looks really good above $32. Below 32, it probably comes back and tests some of this range. In long term, above 27, as long as you're above 27, it actually looks super sexy. Monthly looks great. Higher highs, higher lows. Also confirming it's a little bit lower. It's about $30. So 30, 32 above there looks pretty good. You do have a pretty fat gap right here. Funny enough, that's about at 30.69. So, but not too bad. Oh, there's actually another gap right here. It mostly got filled. But yeah, 30 to 32 is major support on this chart. Pretty nice. We just need to get the bulls above $35, and this thing could be running. Let's look out. Let's zoom out. There is some pretty massive resistance at 37, so probably a short run to there before a test, but getting above like 37, man, probably gets us to 45, and then it would probably go into blue sky mode at that point. But pretty good looking chart. Stream is choppy. God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't really do anything. I'm not getting drop signals either, so I don't know why that's the case. I'm sorry about that. I wish that my $150 a month 1 gig service would actually be that, but it's not. Hello. What's up, Shadows? How you doing, man? Welcome. All right. Well, I'm about to sign off here. I need to go get some lunch and watch some trades and do some management here because I like when stuff sells off. That's nice. Oh my God, almost 3%. Looks like we're getting more follow through at lunchtime here. Yay! Let's go to the abyss. I am short Synchrony Financial, just if you wanted to know. And it's a bank, more regional bank that does lots of consumer credit. I didn't really know about anything about this SB, what the hell is it? Silicon Valley Bank that actually has had a shitty chart for a really long time. But didn't know anything about that. But Synchrony Financial, kind of have this short thesis on it that consumer credit is getting pretty squeezed. And I've seen some weird adjustments on credit lines and stuff like on some of the cards I have with Synchrony Financial where they just lowered them. And my credit is good and all that. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why? I've never had a credit card company do that before. And I know a couple other people it's happened to, so that's interesting. So the contagion thing could be real here, and if it is, we will get more downside pressure overall. But I think the Fed next week is really going to kind of show us that. Hey, what's going on, Mikey Haley or Haley? How are you doing today? Thanks for joining us, Mr. MK there. MK Mike. Let's go to the sector majors real quick. Oh, snap. Brutal. I think we looked at this on Wednesday on the chat, talking about they were looking kind of nasty on the regionals. They look extra nasty now. Pretty bearish below $43. Let's see if XLF is kind of in the same boat. Look at this indecision. So already 3 hours left in the day, but we're printing a doji here. So the market's kind of like, wait, what the hell just happened? Is this a problem? So there's some indecision right at these levels. Again, actually a lot like crypto, looking left to the summer or late Q4 price structure. So, I mean, look at this horizontal that's like pretty clear right here. You can see right here, support, resistance, and now is this a support level? Possibly. Let's just put a horizontal there. We can kind of watch that. Back below that is death. Let's look at Goldman Sachs. Let's just look at a couple individual banking stocks. Ooh, hello. Breaking below range. Pretty kind of ugly below 340. But again, look at this. A lot like the cryptos. It's getting caught so far. It's getting caught right here. Same shit, different day. Interesting. Okay. Pretty much red everywhere except for metals. And that's about it. Shit, really just metals. Let's go look at the big boys. What are they doing? Oh, look at this. JP Morgan is bouncing off these lows saying, suck it. So off the open, looking really bearish, and it just rallied really hard. Interesting. What do you know, Mr. Jamie Dimon? What do you know? Are y'all going to back off of some rate hikes? Maybe. Interesting. Right off the 200, coming back above both the short-term EMAs. It might even not even make a lower low this week. Interesting. Okay. Intel's up today. All right. That's cool. Yeah, everything else is kind of whatever. Let's go look at some bank stocks, actually. Wells Fargo, finding a little bit of support. Man, Wells Fargo is... Man, to be fair, this isn't the prettiest chart, man. This is kind of distribution looking. It starts getting comfy below 40 bucks. This bitch could really fall hard. Let's look at a couple other ones. Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Bank of America doesn't look great. Oh, wow, PNC, brutal. Look at this squeeze, and now we're finally getting follow through. Man, if the Fed keeps hiking and they don't change their narrative, we probably are going to get some nasty follow through on some of this shit. Interesting. Let's go look at our blockchain index. Ouch. My blockchain miner index, but hey, look where it is, coming to that same kind of previous resistance support flip zone in December. Interesting. Cores, what are you doing? Cores is selling off too. Uh-oh. All right, I think I'm about to sign off. If anybody wants me to look at anything else. I didn't look at Sony. Sorry, let's go look at Sony. Sony. I'm assuming this is the electronics company. You could argue this is an inverted head and shoulders right here. It's pretty textbook. Looks pretty damn good above 83 handle. Not too shabby. Looks really good if it gets above 93. So might be a trade from 83 to 93 possibly. Back below 83 though, I'd start to really question the bulls on this. Let's go to daily. Yeah, daily has no momentum on it on either side. The best thing is structure kind of on the daily. And it's also agreeing with the 83 handle. So above 83, it looks okay. Not too shabby. Dang, overstock, new lows. This one might be a good buy for crypto at some point. Let's look at it on a monthly. Man, look at this. It's in the middle of its like 20-year range. Wow. Interesting. Let's see what volume profile looks like on that. Wow. Look at that. It's a perfect distribution curve. So there should be really good support here in the mid-teens on overstock. Interesting. I wonder if they've got some decent options on there. My memory serves me. I don't think that they're very good. All right, let's look here. What the 90% down? That must be some shit ass. shit project. Dude, yeah, I'm taking this off my list. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Look at this chart. See this? Whenever you see a chart that starts to look like this, go far, far away from it. I mean, there's days in here where literally no trades happen. Oh, but it could moon, dude, to 10 cents. It'd be so much money. Well, yeah, good luck getting out. Terrible, terrible, terrible chart. I just took it off my list. I will never look at it again. Well, 98% chance I won't look at it again. Yeah, wheat stocks are up today. Okay. Well, that's cool. Not all of them, but all right. Interesting. Oh, man. I think that's it for now. Yeah, let's look at real estate real fast. I'm just kind of curious on builders. Yeah, I figured they were going to get hit from this. Ooh, that's kind of nasty. Yeah, Shiite. Real nasty below 82, y'all, on this chart. Because it's already testing to make a lower low and structure here, so that's interesting. Huh. Real estate getting taking a little bit of heat. All right, let's do the wrap up. Mama Bear. So Mama Bear is testing the lows. We're down here. We broke that 21,000 area. We got follow through. It all happened pretty much in 48 hours. Now, is this just going to get caught here by the bulls? We got major support in the 19,000 range. Pretty much 18.5 to 19.5 is a really good support range. The weekly is closing back below the 21, but it will not be able to do an open and close below that. If we do get that next week, I will start to get a little bit more concerned about bearish pressure and might change my stance a little bit on accumulating around these areas if that were to happen. But we have to just wait till next week to see. But right now, off of this reaction so far, I do kind of like that we have gotten into a really major support zone. And for me, I like my odds of taking single-digit percents here for my risk. That is lovely. I love when I get to see that. That gets my bull boner going. Or actually just my trading boner. All right, let's just stop there before that goes too far. All right, as long as it kind of holds there, it's okay. There is pretty damn good support in that zone.